calling the meeting to order, and this is Dr. Ricky Scott. I'm the chair, and I'd like to welcome everybody here today. And is the secretary here yet?
Huh.
Well, all right. Well, I guess what we'll do, we'll go around and announce who's here, and we'll take it from there. Ricky Scott, chair.
This is Philip Woodward here. I'm the Vice Chair and Public Information Chair, and I'll be glad to take notes if Lori is unable to be with us today. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Philip. Would appreciate that.
Bob Evans, member.
Robert Parrish, Subcommittee Chair on Housing.
Tara Waters, Awards Banquet.
Shakima McLean, member.
Lawrence Carter, member.
Ronnie Marshall, member.
Okay. Would all of you put your phones on mute so that we will be able to avoid the background noise? Are there any guests
Yes,
that we have?
Mary Alice Connor, I'm a guest.
All right. Are there any others?
Dr. Scott, you have Dr. Audrey Caesar here.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Cedar.
You have Deja as well from the City of Raleigh, Office of Equity and Inclusion, Dr. Scott, and the rest of the members of the board.
Okay. Thank you all. Welcome. Welcome.
So hold on to the.
Okay.
What's that?
So what we will do here, we have a guest, Ms. Connor. Robert, who is our housing subcommittee chair, invited her to come and speak with us today. Robert, do you wish to give any brief introductory information about our guest speaker?
Yes, I'm happy to do so. I want to introduce Mary Alice Connor. Ms. Connor is a CPA so she's a realtor who specializes in real estate work with seniors. One of her passions in that area is helping seniors to stay in place. And as you may know, that is a trend today. Many seniors want to remain in their home. So she helps to make their homes more accessible and works to meet their other needs in the area. And I'm sure she may have something to say more about that. Ms. Connor is also a member of the North Carolina Council on Aging. And so, Mary, the floor is yours.
Hi, well, I guess it's good afternoon, everybody. As Robert said, I am a CPA. I had over 30 years in the healthcare arena, and I semi-retired and got my real estate license, and my passion is seniors. So luckily, the timing on this is perfect because this is actually the National Aging in Place Week. And I'm not on the New Jersey Aging in Place, but I am on the National Aging in Place Council. I'm a member of it. So I wanted to do a little presentation for you today. And if that's all right, just one minute. This is my first time sharing a screen, so please have patience with me on this. So Demetrius, I have it up. So do I just minimize this and?
At the bottom of your screen, it should be a green box that says share screen.
Oh, yes.
Click that.
Okay. All right.
Click your presentation.
Okay. Can everybody see it?
There it is.
Okay. Let's see. I want to do, okay. So you'll notice my picture is about 7 years old because I don't look like that anymore, but that was me about 7 or 8 years ago. And I'm now with the pandemic hair color. So anyway, moving on. Right now we have 6 living generations, and often we have more than one generation living under the same roof. And I think we're going to see more of that, unfortunately, because of the pandemic, with people now living with their parents or parents living with them. So right now we have the silent generation. Those folks are in the 75 to 95 age range. We have the baby boomers, which I'm one of those, in the 56 to 74. And I didn't know this, but the baby boomers go all the way up to being born in the year 1964. And that's important. We'll come back to that. And then the Generation X, the 44 to 55, and the millennials, are otherwise known as Generation Y. Those are 26 to 43. I have 2 of those personally. And Generation Z are 10 to 25, and then 9 and under are now the Generation Alpha. So the important thing here is you can see the baby boomers in 10 years, all of the baby boomers are going to be over 65. And this Generation X group, they're going to be on the cusp. They'll be just starting to be 65 years old. So let's think about that. My question is, in this age group, what are going to prompt these seniors? Oh, and let me go back a second. This presentation might be about seniors, but in my mind, it really is about also anyone with disabilities because of their living situation. So, even though I'm talking about seniors, I think it goes across the board at any age if you have disabilities. So what prompts the seniors to move is oftentimes they want to be closer to family. Financially, they may need to move. They may want to downsize. They may have lifestyle changes. Maybe they want to go live at the beach or live in the mountains, or they may have diminished physical and mental capacity. And as we say in the seniors industry, it all starts with a fall, unfortunately. Because when you have the fall, oftentimes it's too late to make decisions on your housing. You get in a panic situation. So what I want to say is, why should people move here or stay in Raleigh? And it's the old real estate adage, location, location, location. So I moved here almost 11 years ago, and I chose to move here. I really didn't. I knew one family that lived here. My son recommended Raleigh when I'm originally from Missouri, and I also lived in Georgia, but I had raised my children in New Jersey. So my son said, "Mom, you should consider Raleigh. It's my second favorite place to live behind Denver." So I sat down and made a list of what is it that I want? Where do I want to end up? Because I can't live in Denver for health reasons. And these are some of the things that I think are important about living in Raleigh. We have great cultural attractions. We have world-class healthcare, which is extremely important to me and seniors and with people with disabilities. It also has a great international airport. I can get to my kids in Denver on a direct flight. And it's a college town, so it provides a lot of opportunities for seniors to take courses, maybe, courses not for credit, but things that are interesting. And it's an international community. And we also have the Research Triangle, which is important to me. I think it gives a global perspective to our community. So that being said, in aging in place, according to the the AARP, these are the things that people are looking for independent living for seniors. Well-run community centers, rec centers, parks. And I think Raleigh, we have all that. We've got phenomenal senior centers. We've got the great parks, and then we got the Dorothea Dix, what's going on down there. We have the Greenway, and then we have volunteer opportunities. We have dependable public transportation. And as far as sidewalks, that's probably something we could improve on. I know in my community, we do not have sidewalks, and I live in the city of Raleigh. And also the road designs are good for seniors. So that being said too, what do seniors, what are they looking for to be able to age in place? And they're looking for homes that are in the suburban areas or near suburban locations. They want single family detached homes that are one level with 2-car garage, 3 bedrooms, 2 to 3 bathrooms, an open kitchen and family room. And this is what I thought was interesting, a separate living room, which, you know, with everybody's been about, oh, we want the open concept. And they also are looking for a median size of 1,900 square feet or less. So, so in order to age in place, a lot of the homes, modifications need to be considered for physical ease and mobility. I know I'm getting ready to renovate a bathroom. I'm going to have a walk-in shower with the grab bars. And actually, it's amazing how far we've come in that area where it doesn't look like a senior lives there. I mean, the design in that area has been fantastic. You have to design for safety, being able to get the wheelchairs if one's necessary, having the correct width. So it's basically with the ADA standards. And also I think enjoyment, because if you're going to be in your home and that's where you're aging in place, you want to be able to entertain, you want to be able to get outside. And so you might have to have modifications, whether it's ramps or whatever you can do for accessibility. So now we're getting to where I have my passion. And this is where I really would love to have a discussion with you all and see if your observations are similar to mine. I bought a home almost 11 years ago in Raleigh, inside the Beltline, and my neighborhood was primarily 1950s ranches. And what has happened in my neighborhood is I'm one of the last surviving ranches in my neighborhood. I'm watching them being torn down all around me, and they're putting up these very expensive McMansions. And it kind of makes me sad because I think about, you know, remember when you look back at that table, in 10 years, the baby boomers are all going to be over 65. We're going to have a generation coming up behind us that are going to be at 65. So these are people are not, in my mind, are not going to want to be living in these McMansions. The demand will not be there, I don't believe. And so what's going to happen? Is there going to be a migration then? Or if you want to age in place, are you going to have to go outside of Raleigh? Or, you know, it's ironic. I had on Facebook today an ad came up for a new community coming to Cary that's going to be ranch homes. And I think, okay, well, Cary, you know, these are all nice communities, but to me, Raleigh is attractive because I like being close to to downtown. I like being close to Five Points. I love my location. And what's going to happen to the seniors that are going to want to live here, but they don't want to live in the McMansions? And so what I'm seeing is that they're either being torn down and they're being replaced by expensive McMansions. And unfortunately, well, and I get it, I'm a CPA, people, these contractors and these builders want to get a return on investment. So they're not thinking necessarily all the time forward to, what if this person wants to age in place in this 2-story house? Can you put an elevator in? Can this pantry be converted? Can it be built such a way that if you want to put an elevator in at a later time, could you do that? So I think it's sad that we're not having that forward thought, but yet it's reality, and these contractors need to make a good return on investment. The other thing is, and I have to say, you know, I've had clients that are doing this too. You can look in Raleigh to some of these communities, and Robert and I had this discussion where, and say like in the $200,000 to $300,000 range, these houses are being picked up by investors. And what's happening is these investors are paying cash, and they're taking them as is. They'll close quickly. And of course, that's great for the seller who cannot want to do that. But what's happening is these investors are coming in, and a lot of them are not long-term rentals, and you know, they're not necessarily wanting to keep the property for a long time. They're wanting to flip the property. So again, they're going to want to put in the minimal amount to get their biggest return on investment. And they're not thinking about they're going in and flipping them and making modifications so they look pretty aesthetically, but there's not a thinking of, should we look, we're putting in the new bathroom anyway, let's put in some grab bars. Let's put in, let's put in some things that would appeal to seniors or people with disabilities. And so we're losing, those houses are now number one, becoming more expensive, and they're not being able to help the seniors or the people with disabilities. And I think it's also taking affordable housing out of the Raleigh area as well. Robert, do you want to comment on that?
I think you said it best in that, but I also, well, I do think that gentrification does have his negative effect too, as far as some people who own their homes cannot afford to pay taxes on their property anymore, so they have to move out. So, and from that perspective, it's sad to me.
You know, that's a good point, Robert. I lived in New Jersey for 14 and a half years. And when I lived there, you know, it's a very expensive place to live. I lived right outside New York City. And it was, what they did in the state was the county could cap the real estate taxes on the house purchase so that people could afford to continue to live in their home. And yes, that puts the burden on other people, but then it kind of also makes sense from this perspective of, as those people are aging, they're not using the services as much. They don't have school children that are using the schools and all of that. They're still supporting it, and as we all should, but the people who are using the schools and the services more are the ones who have the higher taxes. So they'll reevaluate the house when it turns over and adjust the tax bill on the house at that point. And it, again, helps the seniors. So good point, but yes, so I look around me and and I just would appeal to all of you to kind of, when you're out driving in Raleigh, pay attention and see what's happening to these homes. And we can't tell people they can't sell their home, of course, but I do think what we can do is we can, oh wait, before I go, what I think we can do, let me just say this. We talked about where are we going to be in 10 years. Well, and since I think that the demand for the ranch homes in Raleigh, those that still exist, will be a lot higher. I know friends of mine are saying, hey, we would love to live inside the Beltline, but we can't afford it. Or they're just, there's not affordable homes for us that are ranches. And even North Raleigh, all of these homes, if you look around North Hills, you'll see a lot of those ranches are being torn down as well. So, and then the millennials, I have two millennial children, and the millennials, it'll be interesting. I want to see if my prediction will be correct. I think in 10 years, they're not going to want these McMansions. The millennials are more about minimalism. They're more about experiences. They're more about adventures. And they're not so much about having the big showy homes. So I predict that those ranch homes will even be more desirable to that generation as well. So along those lines, I think about, well, what can we do? We can't tell people, no, you can't sell your ranch home to a contractor who wants to tear it down. But I think what we can do is we can create an interest in aging in place through social media, through outreach. I think what we need to do is start raising the consciousness of people sooner. Like, don't wait until you have the fall. Don't wait until you're retiring. Think about it when your kids are getting ready to empty the nest. Say starting in your early to mid 50s, think about where do you want to end up? And if you're going to buy a home, start to think about how can we buy a home and modify it for aging in place. So the other thing I think is we need to start encouraging mindful architecture and construction. We need to somehow make it more advantageous. I'm not sure how. I'm trying to be, I beat my head against the wall thinking about this, but getting architects and contractors to be more proactive in making these homes so that they can be modified to be able to accommodate people with disabilities or people that are seniors. And I think too, I'm really fascinated by this concept that has come out And it's a village concept, not the villages of Florida. That's not what I'm talking about. But it's a village concept. And what it is establishing neighborhood villages to provide services and support. And again, I'm going to use myself as an example. I have 2 children, 2 millennials that live in Denver, and they're never going to leave Colorado, and I'm never going to go live in Colorado. I get very sick in high altitude, and I have heart disease. So I have to think about, what am I going to do? Who's going to take me to the doctor if I have to have a procedure done? And I do have friends, but at some point you say, you can't always, be putting the burden on your friends. So what they've done, I know in Boston and in Chicago, and I think there is the concept being developed by a group down in the Cameron Village area. But I think what we need to do is start thinking about neighborhood villages. And what that does is these villages provide services and support to members who want to age in place in their own home. And they want to, they're going to need a level of support to be able to do this. And there's different ways that you can do it. And again, I'm in the process of researching this even more, because to be honest with you, putting this presentation on for you all today is really, I don't know, it's re-energized me to think about how can I help develop a village in Raleigh, because I think it's needed. It serves what I consider my own personal mission statement, and it will be beneficial in my life. So, and those of people that I care about. So there's different ways you can do it. You can start like a not-for-profit. You can do it where you charge a fee on a scale depending on the person's ability to pay. Or you can, like if you were, so for an example, you set up a not-for-profit, you have a board of directors, you work with vendors that you vet to make sure that they're safe. I know a lot of seniors are afraid of being taken advantage of. So you can do background checks and you get them to agree to provide discounts. You form volunteer groups who are willing to help the seniors, giving them rides to doctors, taking them to the store, delivering food to them. And you also, another interesting concept I was reading about is you can set it up on a point system. Well, I don't know if any of you have ever been in a babysitting co-op. Of course, that was many years ago for me, but you can do it so that seniors earn points. They can have points on how much like if I take someone to the doctor, I get so many points in the bank, and then when I need that service, I can withdraw from that. So there's various ways of doing it. I know they've set them up in Boston, they've set them up in Chicago, and I think that, it's something that we might want to pursue more in Raleigh. And so anyway, this is really my, what I wanted to bring out to you all today to think about, and I hope it's helpful. I think I'm open to discussion. And again, I am a senior real estate specialist. And when I took the exam, there weren't that many in the state, but seniors do have certain needs. And I think that we need more people trained to be able to deal with them. So anyway, that's my spiel.
Well, thank you.
Let's open it up and think about any questions or comments or. No?
I have an observation,
Okay.
Mary. One quick observation is that I was interested to hear that seniors don't want to move closer in town where there might be more transportation. Could you speak to that briefly?
They do want to live in town. Did I?
You said suburbs. That suburbs.
Okay, you're right. You're right. Well, that was what the survey said. But you're right, Robert. It's interesting. Raleigh is an interesting city. I mean, I think of Raleigh, it almost has a suburban feel to it, even when you're in Raleigh. I don't know if you all feel that way, but I think I would prefer personally to live, as I chose to live in Raleigh. Where I live is right at the edge of, I live close to the Beltline. I wanted originally to live in 5 Points. I wanted to be able to walk and all of that. So transportation is key. I think if it is in a suburban area, you're going to have to be able to walk the places. You're going to have sidewalks. You're going to have good transportation. And let me say, if you don't mind, digress a little bit. Something else that I think is was thinking about is the pandemic. And I think the pandemic, and I've talked to several of my other senior friends about this, I think it's going to create a bigger desire to live in your own home and age in place. I personally, I don't know, and we can talk about this. You all have an opinion on this. I would hope that if you're going to be in a nursing home or an assisted living facility or something like of that nature, I know friends that ended up on lockdown, and because they had to protect themselves. And I think if you're aging in place, you have more control over who's coming in and out of your house. You have more freedom to go sit out in your yard rather than being told you can't leave your apartment. And with the threat of future pandemics, I think aging in place is going to be more desirable to the seniors. So I don't know what you think about that. Robert, I probably didn't answer your question. I am surprised it says urban, because I love urban, so.
We need to, I'm sure Dr. Scott's probably saying,
Yes.
well, yeah, but I just say one quick thing. BRT is going to help some of that anyway. So anyway, thank you, Miriam. I don't think we have time for any more questions. Thank you for being here.
Everybody, I hope it was helpful.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Ms. Connor.
Bye.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. For the report from the chair, I don't know if David Eatman ever showed up or not. Did David Eatman ever come?
He hasn't left the meeting.
Okay. Well, on the 21st of September, he announced the hiring of Mr. Sean Abrams, A-B-R-A-M-S. He is the person who replaced Richard Vinson, and Mr. Abrams will have the primary responsibility for supervising the Go Raleigh Access Program. So I wanted to let you all know that Sean Abrams, who used to be with MV Transportation, is now the supervisor of the art program. Okay. Any questions about that before moving on to Philip for his report?
Robert,
okay.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Yes.
This is Donnie. This is Donnie Best. I was just letting you know that I used the phone to get in. Demetrius wasn't able to. I don't know what it was with the Zoom. But anyway, I am in, and I was in August 20th as well, but I was muted. So I just want to let you know I haven't been neglecting.
You're right. Exactly. We appreciate your, yep. Okay, Philip, you have a report from the Vice Chair?
Is he muted?
Yes. Philip, you're muted.
Hi, good afternoon. This is Philip Woodward, the Vice Chair. The only information I have that I can think of, I want to report two things. First of all, most of you are aware that October is National Disability Employment Awareness Month. Lori, the secretary, may have sent you some emails about various NDEAM events and occurrences happening, throughout the state or throughout the country, in case you're interested in watching any of those webinars or other things happening. The state of North Carolina actually hosted one on Tuesday where Senator Tom Harkin joined. He was one of the chief architects of the Americans with Disabilities Act, and he talked about how this year marks the 75th anniversary of NDEAM. Also, I want to make everybody aware that today is the last day to fill out the U.S. Census, and I can put the link to that in the comments. in case anybody has not filled out the census, please make sure you do so today, because we want to make sure that every person in the country is counted, and that all disability types and disability data is accounted for. And the census directly affects how much federal funding the state of North Carolina will receive over the next 10 years. So I just wanted to share those items. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, now moving to the Human Relations Executive Director's report.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. This is Audrey Caesar. I don't have much to report today, just that we are in the process of looking at equity training for all boards and commissions, and that we're in the process of planning a city council training also for our mayor and our city council, but we want to do something special so that all boards and commissions can also receive that training. So we're working on that. And then just as a side note, I just attended a conference where they were talking about COVID-19 potentially being classified as a disability. So folks who are dealing with that, they're calling it long hauler syndrome. So when you have recovered from COVID-19, that you are continuing to exhibit symptoms, and what we're hearing is fogginess, we're hearing some memory loss, some motor instability, with muscles and joints. So there's all of these things that are happening long after folks have, quote unquote, recovered from COVID-19. So when I hear more about it, it was just introduced to me at this conference, but I thought it would be interesting for this group.
That is interesting, yeah.
Folks are interested in researching that. So I wanted to bring that forward. And also,
all right,
at the conference, they were examining the intersection of race and disability in schools. So right now, kids who are in virtual academy, some who have ADHD, some who are autistic, they're looking at the impact of COVID-19 on these kids in particular. So I know we had talked about at some point scholarships for teachers and students who fall into this category. That's just another topic that is being discussed right now. So just wanted to share that, and that's all I have today.
all right. Thank you so much. Okay, did our treasurer show up, or Dr. Caesar, do you have any information, or Mr. Edwards, about the treasurer's amount of money we have?
Aisha?
I have it, Dr. Scott. This is
okay,
Dave.
thank you.
Hey,
yes.
So you guys were, this fiscal year, so July through next June, you were adopted 15,000. So far, you guys spent $861.97. This is for interpretation services. I know we did some in July. We did 2 for 88. I forgot what conference it was, and then the regular meetings. So right now, you have an available budget of $14,138.03, which will need to be used before June 30th, 2021.
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully we will be able to spend every dime of it.
I'll help if you can't spend it.
I'm sure we will, assuming certain things happen that we can. Okay, let's move to the committee reports. Philip, you want to lead us off here with your report? Hello?
He's using the captions this time, so I can message him to let him know, Dr. Scott, for you. So it might be a little delay.
Hi, this is Philip here. I apologize.
Okay.
I was typing in the chat. For the public information share, I don't have any specific report at this time. If there's anything that I can help with, especially when we plan an award ceremony with promoting that, I will be happy to. Oh, I have one public information thing I just remembered. On November 17th, the Museum of Natural Sciences will host its STEM Career Showcase for students with disabilities. And Lori should get the link to send that out. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, Tara, Ms. Tara Waters.
Good afternoon, everyone. Typically this month we would be having our annual awards banquet, but it has been postponed and a new date has not been established. I believe that Dr. Scott, Demetrius, and I are going to have a follow-up conversation post-election just to discuss our options for having it hopefully in the spring. Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you very much. Okay. Robert, do you have any additional information regarding housing-related issues?
I don't. I will say, however, that I did submit my bond letter to you and the executive committee, and I was wondering about the status of that. Has that been sent to council?
To my knowledge, that information has been sent, but I can verify that, but I think that it has been, but I'll check into that.
Thanks, sir. That's all I have.
Okay. All right, let me see. Health, wellness, and recreation, there's no report there. Community access and transportation, no additional information beyond the hiring of Mr. Abrams for the paratransit program. Okay. Well, let me see. John Samuels, he's not here today, so there probably isn't anything there. Let's move into public comment period. Is there any particular issue or anything that people may wish to comment on during this time?
This is Bob Evans. If I've got something.
Yes. All right.
This deals with on Tuesday of next week between 6 and 7:30. There's a Dorothea Dix public meeting for the Plaza and Play, which is the as you walk into the Dorothea Dix complex, you'll find that it's part of phase 1. They're having focus group meetings to dive into the 6 themes of the Plaza and Play. And they're going to be looking and providing feedback on design. The groups out there are gardens and ecology, arts and culture, and park inclusivity and stewardship. And of course, park inclusivity is probably most important to our group. But they reached out and contacted me on that because they had my phone number apparently, but I wanted to make sure that everybody else knew what was taking place as well. And that's it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Bob.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate that. Any other comments? Okay, hearing none. We'll move into the old business. Is there any old business? Old business. Any new business? New business.
Hey, Dr. Scott, this is Demetrius.
Hey,
Yes,
sorry.
Demetrius.
Go ahead,
Go ahead.
Mr. Philip. You go ahead, Philip. Oh, he's gonna let me go. Okay. Just a quick update from our last conversation, Dr. Philip. September, we wasn't able to vote on the scholarship.
Oh, yes.
Recipients, and so we need
Yes.
to vote on that because we do have quorum this meeting.
Oh, yes, yes. Okay. Yeah, the scholarships, because we did vote as an executive team, but we did want to bring it before the committee. And we were voting to give the 3 recipients, 1 a graduate student and 2 undergraduates. I think it was $1,650. So Do I have a motion from any member, voting member, for this? To give $1,650 to one graduate student and 2 undergraduates.
Dr. Scott, I make the motion
Yes.
that we award these scholarships in the amount of $1,650 to the one graduate student and the 2 undergraduate students selected to receive the scholarship honor.
Okay.
Excuse me, for clarification, was that $1,650 for one, or is that all entire?
No, each individual would get $1,650.
Oh, in that case, I second it.
All right, so it has been moved and seconded. And seconded by Donnie Best that we give the $1,650 to each of the 3 candidates, scholarship candidates. So all in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, hearing none, motion carries. So our committee will be funding those.
Dr.
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
just a note of clarification. I made the motion, Donnie seconded.
Yes, well, what I meant when I said Donnie, I meant he seconded. Yes,
I just
that's
wanted
fine.
clarification.
I appreciate that. Yes, indeed. I'm sure that Philip will make that
and Dr.
clarification
Scott,
in a minute. Yes.
What is the official name of our scholarship?
Well, they were named after James. The
Okay,
James E. Benton Scholarship. That's what the undergraduate, that's what it was.
I might have worded it that way, but I wasn't exactly sure. But we knew what we were talking about. Okay.
Yes, yes,
Right.
yes. Okay, any other questions or any other issues that need to be addressed prior to our adjournment?
This is Philip here.
Yes.
I just wanted to point out real quickly, because I forgot to share it in my vice chair report, that you all might have heard about the Wake County Bus Rapid Transit that's being developed. They've had some branding session where they're working on their branding and their marketing materials, such as, what the buses will look like, what will be painted on the sides of the buses, what the bus stop centers are going to look like, and those types of things. So I participated in a listening session for that last month. And I'm doing that to represent the mayor's committee and people with disabilities and make sure they keep accessibility in mind as they develop all of their branding. You can email me if you have any more information about that or you want to hear more about the process. Thank you.
Okay, and Philip, I want to thank you for representing our committee with this group. Thank you very much. Any other questions?
Dr. Scott, you have 2 hand raises on
All
the
right.
participant side. I'm going to
I appreciate
unmute them.
All right, go right ahead.
Ms. Sullivan?
Hey everyone, it's Joanne Sullivan from the state of North Carolina, and we just wanted to thank everyone who helped us in spreading the word about the 2020 State of North Carolina Virtual Career Expo, and also a special thank you to everyone who was able to attend or send that on to friends, family, and everyone in your network. It was a really successful event, and we hope to share more information with you all if we host anything else in the upcoming future.
Thank you so much there.
Thank
Ms.
you.
Sullivan.
Thank you. And we have one more person, telephone number 624.
Hi, this is Carolyn Covington. I just figured out how to use my buttons. I just wanted to be included in the meeting today. I've been on since 12.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Ms.
Okay.
Cutler. We're glad to have
Thank you.
All right. All right, any other questions or anything needs to be addressed? Hearing none, then we will adjourn this meeting and see you all in November. Have a great week, and you all stay safe and healthy. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.